We're live, Wally.
Let's go. Feels good to be live again.
That's my fancy intro video.
Yeah.
We'll just play that one every time.
There you go. Oh, it feels good to be live instead of like pre-recorded or having to do any editing or anything like that. Plus, like it's gonna take a little bit of time for people to get in here anyway. But it takes me back to the ACL live days, where that little 30. Actually, we got a 30-second countdown media asset over there.
That's true, we do.
But no, it's just different going live whenever you get to interact with the chat. So hopefully people pop in here, we can interact with them.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more fun. And that's kind of what Wally and I vibe on. Like, we really love to be able to interact with the people. Like, that's so fun. And that's what we love about our live stream, and how kind of Wally changed the way we live stream. So we definitely want to keep it going. But this is our new show. It's called In Your Element. And this is because I love being able to watch people in their element. That's what's so cool about being a commentator, watching people in cornhole just thrive. And then I also love being able to help people get in their element. So that's what we're going to do. Hey, there's Steven. Hey, favorite people.
Let's go.
And there's Wally. That's right. What's up? Glad you're here.
Hey, Steven's first. He wins the prize.
You win all the prizes. So what's up, Colt? But yeah, so we're going to kind of talk about some things. We're calling it found in the wild, right? Like people that we have found or watched and witnessed out into the world who are in their element, and how cool it is to be able to witness that. And then we're going to turn it to you and talk to you guys about, the element radar when you guys are in your element. And then we're going to sometimes bring guests on to talk about that, or kind of have some fun discovering how we can be more who we really are. And I think it's important in cornhole, because so many of us get started in cornhole and we're doing it for fun and we love it and we find our family and we start thriving and we're competing and we're progressing, and then it turns toxic sometimes. So I want to bring it back to like where it's about the passion and being in your element and loving what you're doing. So that's what we want to do here.
Yeah, I actually shared a clip today of Liv Morgan. She's a professional wrestler. And she was kind of talking about what I went through. So I just want to hit share on that, even though I'm not really going through it right now. But she was basically talking about how she got to a certain point where like the highs were the high. And then after that was over, you go back to your hotel room, you're by yourself, and you're just kind of like, what do I do now? This is weird. And then the next time she went out there and you get that same high, you're like, I guess this is kind of cool. But it wasn't exactly hitting the way that she expected the success to hit. And I was like, man, I can relate to that 100%. So yeah, sucks the fun out of it after a while.
It can. And you watch people where it doesn't, and you study what they do, and there's something different about how they're approaching it. If you look at celebrities and singers and artists, and there's some that get burnt out and lose the fun and the passion for it, and there's others who don't. And we can emulate what's happening there. So that's what we want to do. What's up, Jasmine? So good to have you guys here. Wally, do you want to kick it off with one of your clips first?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to go ahead and start off with the GOAT. I guess it's not recently, but he passed away a while ago. But anyway, Kobe Bryant in his element. I got a little clip here of him interacting with Barnes, and Barnes is getting flustered. You can see it on his face. He's getting really bothered by Kobe Bryant, and Kobe just doesn't look like he's doing anything. He doesn't look like he cares at all. And then Barnes tries to punk it, but it's one of my favorite sports clips because it just goes to show you that I don't even know if Kobe Bryant knew who else was out there on the court with him at that moment. He was just going through his own little world and going through his repetition. So let's take a look at this clip here of Kobe Bryant.
As Carter knocks in the three, they're going to be thinking about having home court advantage all the way through the playoff and trying to catch Cleveland as Matt Barnes and Kobe Bryant say hello.
A two-shot foul because the foul occurred before the ball was inbounded. Tony Brothers now telling Matt Barnes and Kobe Bryant to knock it off. And he fakes the ball. I mean,
that's the moment right there. You know what I mean? That clip will go down in infamy because Barnes is trying to get back in Kobe's head, and Kobe is not having any of it.
Nothing. He wants none of it.
Yeah, so that's one of these things where he's just in his element. He's locked in. He doesn't know what's out there. And I talked to you a similar story about LeBron James, in Madison Square. Is Madison Square Garden? No, Boston. And basically game 6 on the road. The entire crowd is against him. He's not fazed at all by the crowd, not fazed at all by the opponents, and he just locks in and then puts up a performance for the ages. And I think Kobe did that his entire career, so that's why I wanted to showcase Kobe there.
No, it's such a good point. I mean, he's such an important athlete to study if you are trying to be, I mean, not just a athletic performer, but any kind of performer. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Doesn't care about anything but finish and win the game. You're right, Mikey. That is 100% right. So I'm going to go with, this is really interesting. So, I love American Idol and singing competition shows. This one is really special because this kid has a stutter and has his whole life. And then when he sings, like, it's incredible to watch. So I'm going to let it play a little bit because you're going to hear him talk, and then you're going to hear the contrast of when he sings.
I've always known that I can sing, but to get that level of validation and praise, it was an insane feeling.
I'm gonna be singing Love in the Dark by Adele.
When I was younger and when I watched American Idol, Love in the Dark was one of those songs that I was like, I want to sing that on this show one day. I do feel a little bit of pressure. The audition was just in front of the 3 judges, and now it's in front of 1,000 people. So the stakes are definitely higher.
So yeah, that's just a little bit of it, but pretty amazing to go from, struggling to talk, and then it's just flawless singing.
It flips off like a light switch the second that he focuses up. That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
I remember Drew Lynch. So I never watched American Idol. I couldn't get past the judges. I just was checked out because of them. I love seeing the talent. I love seeing the people, overcome their fear. But I'm reminded of Drew Lynch from America's Got Talent, I believe. And he was a comedian stutterer. I think he took a softball to the neck or something, passed out, and then that's how he developed his stutter. But he basically used it as his weapon on the stage. And somebody's like, you got a stutter. He's like, is it bad? It was pretty cool because he found a way to use it in part of his act. But this guy here singing on the stage just completely shuts it off. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, I'm not consciously, that's why it was such an important one for me, because it just shows you that when you are in your element, when you're doing what you're born to do, everything else falls away. All your doubts, all your fears, all your hiccups of whatever is getting in the way. If you can truly just let yourself be exactly who you are, it's like magic.
What up, Doug? How you doing? Connie checking in as well.
Oh yeah,
getting to see the usuals in the chat. I love this, Meesh.
Yeah, Connie says there's a country singer that was the same way. So, and I know there are others that stutter and sing incredibly. And if you guys go watch that full clip, it gets even better and better. He's absolutely amazing. So really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, those singing shows are pretty cool because the people, they get basically shook by how big the stage actually is. And then once they get going, it's really easy for them to let their talent shine. So, speaking of the environment, my next clip, if we're ready for it, will be Max Holloway going against Justin Gaethje. It was a recent fight, but it shows how the environment around can also factor into something. So if you look at this little clip here, it's a real quick one, but there's usually about 10 seconds left on the clock. Max Holloway always points to center of the ring. Let's just bang it out real quick. And then at that moment, whenever he does that every single time, he just goes to a certain confidence level that he knows he's going to come out of that unscathed. And he's not really like the biggest muscular guy, but he falls back on his skill, and then the environment just always responds to it. So check out this clip here of Max and Justin.
Now it's forced him to change stances. That left leg is destroyed.
Finally, in minute 25, Holloway shows some mortality. Look at this.
Here's the point.
Told him, stand right here.
No, nothing else matters.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even know where he is. Yep. Jeez.
But just goes to show you the environment here that's he's buying into it because they know what's coming.
Yep.
And he feeds off that energy and gets it done. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. And I mean, fighting has got to be, you're talking about needing to perform your best. Is there any other arena where you need to do it more than in an actual ring where you're fighting? So it's a great example. I'm glad you brought that in.
Yeah, I was never more happy to lose money than that knockout right there. That was awesome.
You're like, all right, that's fine. I got it.
Yeah, I lost money, but I'll pay for that all day long.
I got some comments. Preston said, Jake's looks so much better here. All right, Press.
Facts. What a voice.
Okay, you better watch out, Press. Wally is going to visit at some point. He's going to see you at DFT Cornhole, and he's going to remember you said that.
Yeah, it's only a short 8 hours.
Well, Wally is the sexiest man alive. All right. Well, he hasn't gotten
Keep it coming.
What's the magazine where you can actually be called the sexiest man alive? You gotta reach out to them.
I mean, who was it last year? Was it Jason Kelsey last year, or was that 2 years ago?
I don't know. I can't keep track of it.
All
right. And then my other one from American Idol. This is this kid's audition, and it is one of the most unique voices I've ever heard. And what's so cool about this kid is that he's not a singer like professionally. Like he helps like dementia patients, and like he like doesn't ever perform on a stage or anything. So it's really cool. This is his like first time. You can see he looks uncomfortable, but he just kind of goes into his like little zone, and then what comes out, you're like, what is happening?
Okay.
Running out of ways to fix us. I thought I loved you, it was only just a mix-up. That's what you said when you were crying because you missed us.
Like, this is a voice that is so identifiable.
It almost sounds like it's muzzled in a way, but it's clean.
So much for another soulmate. Should've known you only get one bed.
Like, there's no way he doesn't make it in this industry. It's cool though, right? You're like,
the weird thing about this clip right here is that he looks up at the judges for a second, and then he just goes back in his little turtle shell and locks back in. Like, really quick.
Yeah. But really, really unique voice. So I just thought that was such a cool. Like, it's, if everyone tries to sound like each other, and it's just like when people just want to be themselves and stand out and they're okay in that, I just find that so incredible.
What up, Colby? Yeah, I mean, back in the day, my first serious interaction with the ACL was whenever we got on a conference call, getting ready to go to our first pro event. And then Jeff McCarricker hops on the call a little bit late, and Jeff McCarricker sounds like he's been talking on a live feed for about an hour. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff McCarricker. Perfect voice, everything. And I'm just like, oh, man. I'm like, do I got to do some vocals or something like that to get ready for the show? Because Jeff was very intimidating. But I never felt comfortable trying to be a professional, and I've claimed it for years. I'm not a professional commentator. I was more of an entertainer, and I think that's what got me to the point where people love me.
And exactly the same. Like, I'm not an analyst, and I felt the same way when I first started doing color commentary. Like, I can't be Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione. Like, I can't add like super in-depth analytical content to what just happened. And if I try, it's going to go very badly. But I feel my job is just to entertain. Yeah. I'm the color. I'm just there to entertain people and have fun and hang out and watch cornhole. And
and the same thing with Anthony too. It's like I always felt like I had to describe how a roll bag works or how a bag spins or all that type of stuff. That's Anthony's thing. I let him do it. He did it 10 times better than I ever could.
Right.
So Colby brings up an interesting point here. What about outside elements, making you get in your element? Colby, Mountain Dew and I'm in my element, he says.
Yeah, stop giving Mountain Dew that credit until they sponsor you, dude. You can't. You got to be like, it helps. And then once they give you that coin, then you're like, this is what makes me lock in. Just like
right.
Happy Gilmore, a cold cut sandwich. I eat 3 every day. Hey, Happy, can I get one of those? Like, that's got to be you, Colby. You got to hold out. You can't give them all.
I tell you, we need agents.
We need agents. All right, we're going to turn it to you guys. So we want to know, like when do you lose track of time? So when we're talking about being in your element, some of the key factors of that is that you just lose track. And while you were talking a little bit about a story about that right before we came on.
Yeah, it actually happened yesterday, or actually Sunday. I'm losing track of the days. Speaking of losing track of time. So Sunday, I knew I had nothing to do. I wanted to watch the finale of golf. I've been doing pretty good, like predicting the golf winners. So like 3 weeks in a row, I predict the winner and won some money. But as you can imagine, watching golf can be kind of long and boring. So I had my 2 TV setup going, and I knew that I had to get ready for the podcast, the Dog Pound podcast, where I'm going to review TV shows and movies and things like that. And I wanted to start off with The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but they're so small. The episodes are so small, and it's only a 6-episode season. I prolonged it because I knew I had a big task ahead of me. But I was like, all right, golf is on. I'm done reading the Bible. My breakfast is cooked. I got nothing else to do except for to do it. So I sat down, I hit play, I got my laptop out, I started taking notes, and I remember typing starting at 11:14 a.m. I put down the time because I wanted to see how long it would take. And the next thing I know, it was like 8:05 p.m. I just got in the zone. I went through all 6 episodes. I took detailed notes, and the first episode is live on YouTube. You guys can check that out on K9 Unit Cornhole. Athena Delgado and Michael Gonzalez, we all reviewed the first episode, and I feel like it shows how confident I was because of the preparation I took going into it.
Yay, I can't wait. Hey, what's up, Johnny Torres?
Johnny.
That's going to be so great. I can think of the times when I've lost track of time. For me is always music. So if I remember especially when I first started playing guitar, because you're in that learning phase. Like if you guys can all remember when you first started playing cornhole, and you're in that learning phase where you're still trying to like nail things down. You're not trying to be the best yet.
Yeah.
You're not worried about how many you're making in the hole. You're literally just learning the technique. And how time would just fly by. And guitar was the same for me. And I would go to work and I would just count down the minutes so I could come home and play guitar, and I would just get lost in it. And then I'd start creating music. And even when I'm just listening to music, trying to find new songs and create new playlists. Music for me is when I get lost for sure. But how about you guys?
Yeah, we need the chat. This is what the chat's for, guys.
Tell
This
us
is why
what
we're
you
going
want.
live. We need you guys to interact. Brian Betancourt now says, I'm glad you figured out the audio, because he was with me messing around with that. But Brian, I'm just going to ask you point blank, what's a moment where you lost track of time, man?
Oh, this is an interesting one. Josh said, I lose track of time when I'm explaining anything technical that can be work or hobby related, including cornhole. There you go. You're a teacher. Yeah,
so basically he's pulling in from his confidence and his knowledge right there, right? He's
for sure
from his past experience, the time he put into it. And I noticed that too, whenever like I try and help my daughter with, I'm pretty good at math, but whenever I try and help her out with something that I don't understand, it's not very confident, and I want to get out of that situation as quickly as possible. But then if we're going to a situation where I know from, like, I could talk to you about taxes and how, this is gonna follow into your tax return if you do this over here, because this is this, and this is why you got to keep track of. It's like it's an entirely different situation. But as far
100%.
as calculus, no freaking idea.
We got some smart Alex in there. I lose track of time when I see the analog clock. But Matthew, you bring up a really good point. I'm so glad you said this. Does doom scrolling count? No, that's mindless. So the biggest difference between losing track of time in your element versus mindlessness is that one is present and one is not. So when I'm like playing guitar and I'm losing myself in the music, that's the ultimate presence. I'm in my body. I'm right here. I'm right now. And because I'm so present, I lose track of time because there is no future. There is no past. It's just literally right here. Doom scrolling is when you check out completely and you go numb, and it's completely it's really unfulfilling. So it passes time in a very unfulfilling and unsatisfying way. And it's not to judge it. We all do it. It's just that if you do it a lot, you will be unfulfilled in life, and you have to start challenging yourself to do more soulful entertainment, not mindless entertainment.
Yeah, I've doom scrolled for hours before I go to bed before, and I can honestly look back and not remember one thing I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mindless activities are necessary. You had a really hard day. You can't deal. Check out, go numb, do what you got to do, but do not make it a habit, or you'll wake up one day and feel like you're just going through the motions on autopilot, and you won't really be able to pinpoint why, but it is because of all the mindlessness activities. Mindless while you're eating, mindless while you're watching TV. You have TV on, but you're scrolling your phone at the same time. It's mindless. Like
Yeah.
there's so many ways in which you can make your activities more fulfilling. Like I talked about American Idol. I love American Idol. When I put it on, my phone's in the other room. I am sitting, I am present, and I am like just locked in because I love it. And if I love it, then I'm here with it right now. All right, what do we got?
Those Jasmine guy. I lose track of time when I start reorganizing and rearranging things, especially my room. I start to get distracted by all the possibilities and all the little things that I have.
There you go. Hey, I didn't know Johnny Torres was a professional DJ. That's awesome. So you would
It's
like
hard to picture Johnny Torres as a professional anything.
That's fair. He's a jokester for sure. Josh said, agreed, Wally. If I'm not confident in the topic, I'm looking to get out as soon as possible. That is fair. Airmail Joe from Boise, Idaho. All right, Joe, I'll accept your friend request. I didn't see it there. Let's see, what else do we get? We got any other good ones? Is Call of Duty mindless? Yeah, so video games are tough. Look, this is a tricky one. Video games transport you somewhere else. You could technically argue that movies and books do the same thing, right? They take you out of your current environment and put you somewhere else. The only time I think video games are a problem is if you're using it as an escape. And a lot of times I think people get trapped in that where they actually don't even want to participate in the real world. They get so locked into this fantasy world that they stop connecting with people in the real world. And that's when it becomes problematic or dysfunctional. But if it's something that you're doing to connect with other people, like you're playing with friends and you're strategizing and you're using your brain and you look forward to it and it's present, then I think it could be very fulfilling.
Yeah, I think we're going to have one day of the week where I play video games with people too. So Brian Betancourt's trying to get me to play this game. Like, it's RV there yet. It's like, so basically any game we're going to play, it's going to be a form of a co-op game where you have to work with your team to get the mission accomplished, which I can tell you right now, we are not going to do that. We are going to make it as entertaining as possible. And it's just going to be annoying, but a lot of fun. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a way to lose track of time because we're just going to be having a blast and interacting with the chat. It's going to be fun.
I mean, and that is like the best way to be in your element is to be connecting with people. So whether you're in the examples that we showed you, we had singing, we had fighting, we had basketball. Those are all ways in which in some way or shape or form, you're connecting with an audience. It's, it's not directly, but they are there and you can feel it. Paul said, I lose track of time working in the wood shop, trying to figure new things and craft something cool. Love that. I love carpentry. I wish I was good at it. Cause
we tried doing a first episode. Did we post that anywhere?
No, I didn't even. Yeah.
Okay. So we had a woodworker, I guess, on there and he was building a shelf and it was just amazing. But I could tell in that clip that he wasn't looking at the clock. Like, I got to get this done in an hour or two. You know what I mean? He was in his craft. He was making sure it was done perfect. And I love that because it goes to show in the final result, whenever these people care more about the product than any outside element.
I think as a parent, that's like the one thing I want to instill in Rome more than anything else is that whatever he does with passion. Don't half-ass things. Like, really actually take pride and passion in everything you do, even if it's cleaning your house or whatever, just everything. Just take pride in it. What's up, Cito Soto?
Cito.
I lost track of time fishing with my boy. I love that. Cooking is another one. Can you tell the difference between, like, once again, no judgment. If you eat fast food, that is prepared by, a teenage kid who doesn't want to be there, who's slapping it together and throwing it in a bag. And you sit down and eat that. If you eat that with full presence and mindfulness and light a candle and get out a plate and put a napkin in your lap and try to eat that food versus prepared by a chef, someone who loves and takes passion and pride in everything they do, that is going to be two very different meals. I promise you. So
here's the harsh truth sometimes too, is that going out of your way to go to Taco Bell and then waiting in line and then getting your food and then going back into your way to go home, that takes about the same amount of time as just sitting in front of the stove and cooking the food yourself.
It's more the thought, I think, when it comes. Like, that's why I love using, like, I use Cook Smarts, but it tells you what to cook for dinner every night. And so you don't have to think about it. And I just follow the recipe. And like that is like 90% of the battle for me. I could follow a recipe. It's no problem. I just don't want to have to figure out what to make, and then I'm good. In fact, last night I made the best salmon I've ever made in my life. It was a salmon piccata. Highly, highly recommend. Lose track doing the dishes, very therapeutic. I can see that when the water's warm, and yeah, I can totally see that.
Well, that's the thing, is any chore, I think the worst part about the chore is thinking about having to do it.
Yeah.
When you're doing it, it just happens. It goes. It's like cutting the grass. You know, you don't want to cut the grass, but you go out there, you start doing it. You're in the zone, and the next thing you know, you finish. You look back, and you're like, "Yeah,
why did I fight
I
it?
did all that. That's so cool." Steve, what up, Steve?
Let's see. What's Steve say? I lose track of time a lot because I'm so focused on everything I do. I don't worry about anything except what's happening now. That's good presence, good mindfulness.
Yeah.
Oh, Connie said watching cornhole tournaments.
Anything with Ethan, Connie says, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's just,
her loves her some Ethan.
What kind of doctor am I? Psychology. Doctor of psychology. All right, so we'll kind of transition into the next section of our show, which is when we want to make sure that we're helping people find their element. So this could be the chance. So anybody who's watching this now or later, if you want to come on, whether it's in the chat or actually come on the show and talk about kind of how you've lost that connection to you and who you really are and being in your element, we would love to help you with that. So we're going to have someone on next week to be able to talk through that and kind of how they've transitioned in and out of being kind of who they really are and where they feel most like themselves. But if there's areas in your life where you're really feeling drained, or you feel like you're on autopilot, or you're going through the motions and you've kind of lost that spark, that kind of, the examples we showed you, you're not feeling like those people. This is the section where we want to help out with that. So the people who are here live, if you want to kind of put some situations or scenarios in which you feel like maybe you're not like so much locked into who you really are, and you would love to find more of that passion or purpose, we would love to hear about that. And Wally's been talking about kind of his journey with that.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny that Steve is in the chat now, because Steve and I have had plenty of conversations about, why am I feeling out of it, or, not the same as I felt before. And it seems that me and him both have this track record of every 5 years, we like look for something new. We're done with that journey. It's not fulfilling us anymore. So now we want to do something else. And whenever we go and try and accomplish what once made us passionate, it feels draining more than anything else. Like at the end there, whenever I was commentating in a cornhole match, I would go to these tournaments, I would set things up, and I didn't get the same rush. I was instead looking like, all right, 5 more matches, 4 more matches, tear down, then we get hibachi, and then we're good to go. And then I hop on the plane, and it was just going through a routine of stuff that I had to do rather than things that I wanted to do. So I don't know. Is there a reason that after a certain period of time where you just kind of check out on something that you once loved, or you lose the passion for it?
I think that's when people get really focused on the goal being met and not embracing the journey to get there.
So
Especially,
it's almost like chasing a girl, right? You're
yeah,
fine until you actually get her.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard because when we like, I am definitely someone who has grand goals for myself, big lofty goals, and I am someone who like desperately wants them to happen now, and I have to always remind myself that the goal that I set for myself, the fulfillment from that goal doesn't actually come from achieving it. It comes from everything it took, the person I had to become, and all the steps I had to take to be able to create that goal and make it come into fruition. But if I ignore all that, if I'm not present, if I'm mindless, if I'm not paying attention, then I'm going to reach the goal and be like, what happened? Like, why isn't this fulfilling? I see it a lot with when I was in the weight loss industry, especially. People would go through, some pretty drastic or extreme measures to lose the weight. They'd lose the weight. The scale would say what they wanted. The clothing size would say what they wanted, and they would feel empty. And it's because they didn't become the person they actually needed and wanted to become. They shortcutted the goal somehow. They fast tracked it. They cheated. They sacrificed their life to get it. And then all of a sudden you're like, it wasn't worth the sacrifice because I'm miserable even at the goal. So it's the journey that matters.
Yeah, I can relate to that, because when I did 75 hard, I was pretty locked in. Like I was focused on accomplishing the goal. And then once you finish 75 hard, there's like another thing after that you're supposed to do. But in my head, I'm like, when I already accomplished the goal, I don't need to continue this process that made me a better person over the last 75 days. Because
that's rational.
Yeah, it's just like I've already done it. I've been the best version of me for 75 days. Now what?
But it's not really the best version. It's it's the version that you find acceptable. And it took a lot of work for me to become okay with the best version of me as a balanced one. It's one that works out really hard and also does restorative yoga or goes in the hot tub instead of working out.
You're just reminding me of T-Nuts. She was like, it's always about balance. I could drink a bottle of wine while I'm on the treadmill. It's fine.
Okay, that would be a bad situation for me. But we've got some good comments.
For you.
Let's turn to some of these comments. Let's see. I believe it's because people, when they're in a routine, become complacent instead of chasing the dream that they wanted to have in the first place. And they lose the luster of being part of something huge and big. It becomes bigger than themselves sometimes. And Cito, that's really true. I think of like celebrities, right? I could totally see that happening. What else we got? Let's see, Johnny Torres. I ran 4 to 5 tournaments for about 2 years on my own. Started my own cornhole company. I feel I overworked myself with that in a full-time career and also DJing. Yeah, that's a lot. All while being a husband and father. Fast forward to now, I've stepped away from running tournaments and have hired people to run them. And that is definitely.
So let's kind of talk about that for a little bit too, because that is something I can relate to as well. Whenever I started doing it, it was just me by myself, pushing all the buttons, commentating, changing the cameras, doing all the setup and stuff. And then I wanted more. So then I wanted more people to do it with, Corey, you, Jake, and then Chase, Anthony, and all them. So and now I was like, okay, now I want to travel and do different things. And I just kept adding stuff onto my plate.
Yeah.
And I was never satisfied with actually accomplishing the goal. I do see a lot of people out there streaming cornhole or whatever, and they're in their own little weekly blind draw. They're having a blast and they're happy. Yeah. Or at least they look happy. But, for me, I had a problem staying where I was at. I always have to add on to it in some way.
Yeah, and I think that comes a lot from our culture saying like more is better, bigger is better, right? 5 cookies is better than 1 cookie. I really learned it through because I was a binge eater for a few years, and it's like I had to really be honest with myself that like this 1 cookie was so good, but 5 cookies makes me so sick. So in the moment, I'm like, I want more of this taste. This taste was so good. I can't get enough of it. And then when I actually slowed down and got present, I'm like, yeah, but by the 3rd and 4th and 5th cookie, it actually doesn't taste good. I'm actually less satisfied. So I think it kind of relates to that situation. More is not better. It's actually not.
Yep, exactly.
Joe said, what if you really don't know anymore? Everything almost feels like autopilot. Like, and it's so human of you, Joe. Like it's just, we really have to come back to operating as humans and not robots. And our culture teaches us that we should be robots, that we should function like you just input output, right? And so much so that there's like a device for everything. You can measure everything with something external now. And all that does is pull you out of your body. Your body is where you need to be experiencing life, not through the devices, not through the stats, not through the numbers, not through the scale, not through the metrics of your finances. Like all of that has to go away, and you have to actually go internal and be like, how do I feel? What do I need? Those 2 questions will change your life, but you have to be able to answer them.
I'm swimming in quicksand right now, battling that myself, because I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to end up in 5 years rather than how I'm going to survive right now. And that's something me and you have talked about quite a bit with my current job and all these projects I'm trying to take on, but just the act of getting out there. So Joe, I think this is going to be the show for you, man. Just make sure you tune back in each week, wherever you need to get to. We'll get you there. We'll help you out. Steve says, getting older definitely helps. You learn to appreciate the journey and realize you are where you're supposed to be. That's the one thing I picked up on the last few years of my life that really helped out is that, I always said it, God will put me where he wants me, when he wants me. So there's moments though, where I hiccup and I have,
we question it.
I backtrack a little bit.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah. But whenever I actually find peace, it's whenever I just kind of let go and realize I'm not really supposed to have all these answers yet.
Yeah. And one of my favorite mantras is this or something better. So when I'm experiencing something and I'm not entirely, maybe it's not what I would have chosen or I want something else, I always say, well, it's this or something better. I truly believe, I have faith that life will take me to what I desire or what I haven't even considered. It's so far beyond what I could desire because that's already happened. I've set like intentions for myself, have been like, it'd be so cool to do this. And then the universe is like, what about this? Like, and it's like, do you think I thought I'd be here doing like commentating for cornhole, traveling around? Like that was never on my vision board.
Right.
But what was on my vision board is that I wanted to be able to interact in a public space and be on camera and be a talent. Did I know it was going to happen like this? Absolutely not. But that's why I would say this or better, because this is better than what I ever could have dreamt up.
I go back to my childhood. Like Jim Carrey was a huge role model for me growing up. And I remember playing like those pop-up tents, they're like, they fall down to like a circle, but then you open them up and it pops into like a big tent, So we had one, it had a screen on it, and I was reenacting Jim Carrey in the back of the Rhino,
Oh my God.
So I've got my face pushed up against this thing, and I'm acting out for my whole family. Yeah. And we're just having a blast. And like from that moment, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm going to go to school for accounting. I'm going to get my master's degree. And then next thing I know, I'm back to entertaining people. So it's like sometimes you already have the path carved out.
Once a performer, always a performer. My whole childhood, I did musical theater, was involved in plays. But if I was at home, I was either singing, dancing, or acting for my friends and family. Always. Like I was always performing. You couldn't get me to stop. But then at 11 years old, like middle school is kind of that awkward where you start to like really understand like there's like peer pressure and things, and I stopped performing and I completely lost who I was. I was the most shy, insecure. I just wanted to fade into the background. I had no idea who I was. I thought I was ugly, disgusting, gross. Nobody would want to be friends with me. Like I literally lost myself completely until I realized it's because I lost complete track of who I am. Like I'm a performer and I just started hiding, and it's not who I am.
Yeah.
We got some good comments. Want to go through those? Let's see. What do we got?
Actually starting to come in a little fast now. They're going on
I
top
know.
of the screen.
I'm trying to scroll back up here.
Well, so I think this is kind of interesting too, as you're trying to pick one out there. It seems like we have a lot of people that want to interact, and we're not going to say, oh no, we only want pros, or we only want professionals or anything like that on this show. I mean, we're opening it up to basically anybody here because we all need help, no matter how popular or how professional you are. So don't be afraid to reach out to Meesh or myself to, get some help.
Yeah, Cito's talking about how much faith has been a guide for him, and I think that's so great. Jonathan brought up the people pleasing thing. It's such a good point. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I don't know if I could say recovered. I'm still working on it.
No, man.
But it's called the fawn response. We hear so much about fight, flight, and freeze as nervous system responses, but the fourth one is the fawn response. And the fawn response is when you people please. And so I think it's important to recognize it as a stress response because it helps humanize it a little bit more. So when you're hard on yourself and you say, man, why do I like people please? Why do I care so much what people think? That's a nervous system response. It's how you've learned to survive. And so we have to say thank you for that strategy because it probably helped me survive. I know for me, I could not have gotten through middle school without it. I had to people please. It was the only way I knew how to survive at that time with the tools I had at that time. But now I'm older and I've learned more skills and I've learned more tools, and I can recognize the fawning and I can pause and say, this is abandoning myself in service to them. So that fawning is just a way for me to escape having to deal with my own discomfort of this situation and then make them more comfortable. And I feel like it's beneficial to make them more comfortable, but not in sacrifice of myself.
Yeah, I was really lost before I moved to Kansas City because I felt like it was on me to take care of my mom, to take care of my daughter, to take care of my dog, to take care of my dad's dog. I was talking the other day about how I got a great deal on a house. I bought it for $112,000 at the end of a cul-de-sac. I had 2 weeping willow trees. My neighbors were great. They'd bring us, pie. Everything was nice. It was a perfect little house for me and my daughter. And then my dad died and I moved into my mom's house. that house is now valued at like 170,000. So I missed out on making the real estate boom money. And then, you know, in trying to take care of my mom, even though she really didn't need me, I felt like I had to. So I went out of my way to take care of other people. And man, it just slowly started eating away at myself. And that's why now, luckily for you guys all got to know me because I lost my job and then the ACL needed a commentator. And then that's where I came into play. So it worked out great for all you guys. But as far as me, everything has just been like a temporary Band-Aid to get me to the next chapter in my life. But I think Pat put in there, you know, Wally's meant to be an entertainer, some kind of great Mike speaking in front of people. I mean, that's something that definitely came out of it. So even though there's a lot of negativity that's happened to me, I do have some positives there. But yeah, I definitely had to sacrifice the people-pleasing element to walk away. I don't know if you guys could tell at the Stevie Awards, it was an emotional moment for me because it was really unexpected. Like it wasn't supposed to be, all right, goodbye, everybody. It was supposed to be until next time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Jake came out and then they made the video and then they did this whole production. And that's where it was kind of like, oh man, okay, I guess we're really doing this now.
I'll see ya.
Yeah. So it became really weird. And I know there's a lot of people wondering, you know, about the comeback and stuff like that. You know, that's to be determined. We'll talk about that in another show. But I think the main thing now is that I'm kind of doing a lot of things for me, which is good, which is why I'm doing so many of these different podcasts and shows, because I do want to get back out there. I do want to see what it's all about. And I want to connect with my friends again. So Meesh is a huge reason why I'm doing this, because she reached out and I just remember back to when it was actually fun. It was really because me and Meesh were pretty much on the mic all the time. And then it got a little bit different over the time, but I'm excited to do this again with you, Meesh. And
me too.
I'm excited to getting back to the old Wally that you guys have seen.
Yes, absolutely. I am not an Aquarius, Johnny. I'm a Cancer. Or what are you, Wally?
Society. Oh, sorry.
Wait, what? What's your sign? What are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio.
Scorpio. Oh, you're supposed to be like trouble.
I'm
like
a loyal freak.
Cancer. Yeah, no, I'm a Cancer. I'm a sensitive Sally. Steve said one more thing, then I'm gonna listen. Alcohol, blurry your vision. Too many people, in my opinion, partake in mind-altering drugs. I love that you brought this up because I have such a different perspective on substances, including, you know, food, you know, sugar, carbs, alcohol, drugs, phones, anything. My perspective is always, it's not the actual substance, it's your relationship to it. The toxicity and dysfunction are about your relationship to it. For example, if you have a drink because that's what you know, it's you want to have a glass of wine with dinner and that's how you really enjoy your food, and it's going to enhance because it's a white wine with the fish and there's like all this thought behind it, or you're super excited, you had a great day. That's one way to consume alcohol. If you're like, I hate my life, this was the worst day ever, I need a drink, that's a different use of alcohol. So I just want to, because I'm such a believer in non-judgment. And I think everything can have a positive relationship, even things that people say can't. And I think that alcohol, and I think even cigarettes, and I think drugs, and I think all of it, you could actually have a healthy, positive, balanced relationship, but you have to challenge yourself in your relationship to it. And a lot of people don't. What do we got, Wally?
Yeah, I think that there's a moment where I lean on it quite a bit as far as, you know, oh, I'm struggling. Why am I struggling? No, I need to drink. That's why I'm going to go. I got to get a drink. I'll fix it right away. And then instead of me just enjoying the drink, it became like a chore that I had to have the drink. You know, now I got my drink check on to the next thing. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, wait, this isn't actually satisfying the desire to what I needed it for. I'm not doing any better or something like that. You know what I mean? So then I would just do more and more and more, and really without a purpose at that point.
And it's gotta be chosen, right? Like if you walk in and it's an automatic habit, like then that's you not choosing it. That's a negative relationship because it's like you're a slave to it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're like, I choose to do this, whatever it is, and I'm doing it mindfully with presence and with a positive perspective and a positive energy, that's a very different experience. And this is proven in data. There's so many studies that show that, like my favorite study is they gave two people like the exact same meal, but when they interviewed or surveyed kind of who their perspective, like one was struggled with weight, one didn't. The same exact meal, their bodies responded to that food completely differently. It's the same exact food. So the energy you bring to the substance, super important.
Yeah. I remember the New Mexico tournament, it was like 10 a.m. and they didn't serve alcohol till noon. And the fact that it just got so many people angry and upset that they couldn't play their first game without alcohol, I was like, okay, you guys might need to take a step back and look at this.
It's a crutch, right? And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it's no judgment. Like, you have to acknowledge what you have to do for survival. And if part of your performance is to use a substance, it's not judgment. It's just an area for awareness. It's like same thing with caffeine. Like, I can't do caffeine, but a lot of people rely on caffeine to wake up. And I would just challenge it. Like, do I want to be someone that has to have a substance to wake up? Or do I want to see what I could change in my life so that it's just something I enjoy and want to do as opposed to have to do? Josh said, professionally, what do you say to those who chase money rather than passion? Logically, it feels like chasing higher pay is more important than passion or fulfilling role. I don't think it's an either or. I think there's nothing wrong with using a high-paying job to fulfill your money needs and then doing something passionate on the side. And then I think there are people, like for me, I cannot physically make money without doing it with something I'm passionate about. I've tried. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the question I keep asking myself right now, as far as like, what was my passion with the ACL commentary gig? Like, it was not necessarily that I enjoyed commentating or watching cornhole or being on ESPN or anything like that. I felt like when I first did it, I was changing the game. I was changing something about the sport that has never been done before. And I felt proud of myself because I felt like I was the best person in the entire world at my job. And I took pride and I took a sense of ownership in that. And some people are like, hey, you want to, come back and commentate this event, or you want to do this and this? And I was like, it's not really the same. It doesn't hit the same. Like, yes, it's a quick paycheck. I can make money doing it. But on the outside now looking in, if I were to come back to the sport of cornhole, I don't want to come back and just fill a 2 or 3 hour gap on the microphone. I want to get back to changing the game. I see a lot of negativity out there right now at it. And I want to make it to the point where it's going to be something I can look back on and be proud of. So what that looks like, I don't know. But I know that there's still a passion there to change things. Yeah. And I don't think I could just take the money without having a sense of purpose. Yeah.
But and I also know, like, especially there's a lot of men who they're like, my job is to provide and I'm going to go provide. And then and that's very fulfilling to me, even though I might not love my day-to-day work. And then I find passion in my hobbies and my other things. And I think that that's amazing too. There's room for all of it. Let's see. I don't drink a lot. I just drink often, if that makes sense. I'm the same way, Johnny. I rarely binge drink. Every once in a blue moon. But I drink, I love a glass of wine almost every night. So
yeah, I quit drinking.
Yeah, you quit drinking. That's a non-alcoholic.
Just now, did you see me?
It's a non-alcoholic Modelo.
Watch, I'll quit again right now.
There it is. I like all the cancer love.
I quit right now.
And you're right, Jasmine. It's not that we're necessarily sensitive, but we're very sensitive to tone and energy, and that's true. It's very easy for me to connect to people and to be sensitive to what they feel, and that's what kind of fuels the people pleasing sometimes, because I can feel when I'm like, oh no, someone's feeling uncomfortable. I got to do something about it. And that's really hard to let go of. And Josh is right. Wally, we need you in the sport. That's so true. We do. All right.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we'll kind of wrap up any more last minute comments before we kind of end here. But this is, wow, so many cancers in the chat. Let's go, cancers.
Marky, what up? Yeah, I think that this is going to be fun because as more and more people get involved in it, I'm going to learn something from them to help myself as well. So I'm going to take bits and pieces of other people's problems and analyze it and apply it to my own life, which is going to be huge for, one, the success of the show, to keep it flowing. I mean, I think this is fun interacting with Chad again. I think it's going to be beneficial to everybody who tunes in. And hopefully you guys aren't afraid to share it with your friends and tell your friends, hey, Wally Meesh are back at it again, and they're actually helping people with other things than their throw this time. So, if you haven't been paying attention, that's what Meesh has been doing for the longest time. But
I'm trying.
I'm proud to be a part of it with you, Meesh, and I think it's going to be fun if people tune back in. And I forgot his name earlier. Was it Mark? I think Botsky or something like that. Joe. I think it was Joe. I don't know. Either way,
it was Joe.
Again, we don't necessarily need, people that you guys see on a regular basis on the courts or at the top of your profession or anything like that. I want everyone to get involved, no matter what your skill level, no matter what your comfort level is. Let's help you find your element.
That is the goal. We want you all to be more of who you are and enjoy. And I just revel when I get to watch people who are in their element. I think it's such an honor, and that's what we want to pinpoint, and then help everybody become whoever that is, that version of themselves, whatever that is. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And we'll be back here every week and doing kind of the same kind of thing, sharing some clips that we found. If you guys see some clips that you think we should view, send them off to us. And of course, if you want to hop on the show with us, we'd love to have you. And
Meesh is way more organized than I am. So Meesh, use your email, I guess.
Oh no, here I have a website for it. I'll drop it in the chat. Give me 1 second. Stall, Wally, stall.
What up, Jeremiah? How you doing, my dude? Jeremiah and I think we might be bringing back the Cornhole Roast podcast too. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know as I try and grow the dog pound that we're going to get with Brian Betancourt and maybe go through some brackets and maybe do some like live look parties. You're going to come look parties. Be different than a watch party.
It's a new thing. Don't worry about it.
Entirely different idea. What up, Charity? Good to see you the other day. But yeah, there's the link in the chat from Meesh. But I think it's going to be fun kind of seeing what stems from this, because it all kind of started with Meesh having an idea of, hey, let's do a show together, to, hey, I'm going to do another show where I wanted to do this. And then I was like, all right, what do I really want to do? Because I enjoy watching TV, and I can't tell you guys how much fun I had reviewing The Night of the Seven Kingdoms with Athena and Michael. And I just look forward to a lot of things. I got a buddy who's going to hop on. He read that book. I forget the name of the movie every single time I start talking about it, but Ryan Gosling has a movie coming out in like the next 2 weeks. Something about the sun going away. I don't know anything about it, but I think that's what's going to make it fun, is that we have somebody who has extreme knowledge about it, and then me who just come in and give my honest reaction. So that's where it's going to be fun.
But you just reminded me, my book comes out next month, you guys. I'm so excited. Yeah, my book will launch next month. The pre-orders are out now. You can go to cornholemeesh.com if you want to grab it. But it talks about how cornhole has, changed my life in the most positive way. And then it talks about my research, my dissertation, where I was able to actually interview cornhole players and how it's changed their lives. And it was just the most fun research project. And I bring in all of the data on how important connection is and how it changes our lives. And please go get it. I'm so excited for it.
I'm getting it. I got a place for it right there after I get done reading it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I moved out here. I never read a single book, and I'm 5-6 books in right now. So I'm finding a little bit of peace time in my life right now. I like it.
There you go. Johnny, I don't actually handle any of the graphic design, so my publisher does all that, but I do appreciate you offering. But my publisher does like all the cover and all the, I don't know, I just write it. That's all I do. I hand it off. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next week.
Yep. Bye.